This is Calvin Castine. We're at the Mooers fire station in a little park behind the fire station off Route 11. And we're looking at a couple of farm implements, a dump rake and a saw. Excuse me, a saw, a mower. I do know the difference. A dump rake and the mower with the seats on it would indicate that these were for horse-drawn purposes. You'd sit there with a team of horses. That drawbar would be a little bit longer than that though, and you'd sit there and dump the rake when the appropriate time came, and over there you'd be going along and mowing your hay with that sickle bar mower. We stopped out here because this, for those of you who had the pleasure of seeing Hometown Cable's second visit to the Country Dreams farm, this little wagon here brings back some scary memories for me. I was riding in this wagon when the tire right here, not this particular tire, but one just like it, blew, and the horses reared up and took off, and within 0.3 of a second I was flat on my back. And fortunately there was no tailgate on this wagon, because that's where my head ended up, right off the edge of the wagon, and if there had been a tailgate there, the back of my neck would have been hitting that tailgate. We're going to go inside. There are artifacts here, a gathering of artifacts. I have no idea what we're going to find inside. We're at the town offices across from Dragoon's Farm Equipment. I'm going to go inside and see some artifacts as the Town of Mooers continues their Bicentennial celebration. We come into the town meeting hall. We hope to look at a few of the photos here. We don't want to interrupt the people who are here viewing the items, so we'll not see as many as we normally would, but we'll try to give you a view of what was available here. And maybe 100 years from now, for the Bicentennial, you might make plans to come attend that one. We'll start with this 1896 wedding dress. And briefly it says Catherine Orr of Hemmingford went to Boston to buy this dress for her marriage to Charles Chandler of Mooers, and given to Carol Netto given by Suzanne Chandler, Catherine's granddaughter. Some old maps are here. Most of the stuff that you will find in here today is in Carol's office on a regular basis, just not all of it is able to be displayed because of the tight quarters. So we suggested to her that maybe she approach Jack Dragoon about making this meeting hall her new office and display area, and the board could meet in her office. So she's going to run that by the town board. So here's a map of the school districts in Mooers, the town of Mooers. You can get a focus on it here. Sometimes the distance just won't allow a focus. There we go. So each color is a school district. Mooers Forks is listed. Mooers Village is listed. Woods Falls area is listed, and Thorns Corners is listed. And somehow Cherubusco is also listed. It'd be a good time to point out that we've mentioned most of this before, but we'll mention it again, that 200 years ago, in 1804, Mooers and Chazy were both taken off from the town of Champlain. The town of Champlain was incorporated back in 1788 when the county of Clinton was formed. The county of Clinton included Willsboro, Plattsburgh, and Champlain, and that was it. It included, for as far as people in New York were concerned, both sides of the lake, the Lake Champlain Islands in Vermont were considered by New York State to be part of New York State. The Republic of Vermont had different ideas, of course. And the town of Champlain went west as far as roughly the St. Lawrence County area. In 1799, the town of Chateauguay was taken off, and that's where most of northern Franklin County eventually came off of. That 1799 removal of Chateauguay. Then in 1804, Chazy was taken off, and then from Chazy, Altona came in 1857, and in 1804, Mooers was also taken off from the town of Champlain, and then in 1830, Ellenburg was removed from the town of Mooers. Then in 1845, the town of Clinton, which includes, of course, the hamlet of Churubusco, was taken off from the town of Ellenburg. And that basically is your history of northern Clinton County. Those of you who may have seen the ongoing effort of Larry Marnes to restore the train station in Mooers, it's an ongoing project as we speak. This is what it looked like when it was operating. A nice picture of the Mooers train station. There's a photo of Walter Davison on the table. There's some old hats from the railroad, possibly engineers' hats, conductors' hats, whatever. There's an old quilt here. There's a wringer from a washing machine. It's a rather small washing machine, but there's a wringer there, some washboards. A rug beater, an iron. A lot of old photos. The expression on these folks' faces has not changed in the last 50 years. I won't tell you who they are, though. You have to figure it out. A lot of family photos. From the Mooers area. There are a pile of scrapbooks. World War II era clippings from the North Countryman. Again, most of this stuff is available. Give the Mooers Mooers Town office a call. Find out when you can go down and look at these. Most of these items are there when Carol is at her office. So Carol Nettle, the town historian, will be happy to show off her display if you want to give her a call and stop in. Today she is busy counting money as they continue to hopefully raise some funds. They're selling shirts and books so people can take home a piece of history. They have trained this balloon to keep going to the fans. Up. Let's see if it'll go back. Yep, there it goes. It's a trained balloon. And it keeps going to the fans like a moth to the flame. And sooner or later, the fan is going to win here. It's like the other one up there gave up. This one here may be caught between the fans and is resting at the moment. There's one up there, a blue one that's stuck and can't escape. We're going to take a moment to look at the quilt that was produced especially for this bicentennial. And I think it says the people who participated. Let's look at that before we forget. Let's hope we can zoom in enough. Gina Snide, Ann Hobson, Teresa Gay, Mary Ellen Tomo, Vicki Evans, Edith Supernaw, Pam Boris, Crystal Boris, Norma Rabidou, Scarlett Sample, Julie Forkey, Corinne Steigerwald, Joanne Trombley, Ivy Davis, and Audrey Rabidou. And the churches in each of the four corners. Here's the Mooers United Methodist Church, 1925. The Gordon Supernaw Farm, now a berry farm, 1870. Town Garage, 1997. Churchill House, 1805. This is the Mooers United Methodist Church in 1839. Mooers Free Library in 1932. The Mooers School, 1939. Mooers Forks Town Hall, 1898. Garen's Sugar House in 1982. Fitch's Store, 1871. Now a funeral home since 1971. Mooers Forks Depot, 1850. American flag, a Bicentennial globe showing the tracks. Town of Mooers, Bicentennial. Another, this is showing the old flag. Here's the Mooers Depot, 1852. Town of Mooers offices, 1999. It's been 5 years already. Post office, established in 1822. That's about to find a new location in the not too distant future. Mooers Fire Department, 1948. Renovated in 1999. The Purdy Hotel on the corner of 11 and 22. That's 1883. Presbyterian Church in 1907. Now the Watson Housing. St. Joseph's Church in 1960. Goodrich Store in 1925. Mooers Wesleyan Church in 1927. Knapp's, now Monette's. Knapp's established in 1874. Monette's furniture's been there since 1949. And St. Anne's Church in Mooers Forks, 1861, renovated in 1933. A beautiful quilt, and my guess is one of a kind, and it ain't for sale. Old photos are always a lot of fun to look at. There's a nice display of them. We were up earlier in West Shazy, where it's West Shazy Day and the Shazy Bicentennial celebration. Some of these don't look like ancient artifacts if you're old enough. And some of you might be old enough to not consider this an ancient artifact. There's a variety of radios. And next to the radios, right around the corner here, is a variety of phones. And of course, Champlain Telephone Company, a big part of the community since 1903, when Knapp and Southwick, two names you will find in the old maps of Mooers. Knapp and Southwick got together and formed the Champlain Telephone Company. Well, this will be it. We just wanted to give you a little flavor of what was in here. We're not doing a history of Mooers at this time. There are history of Mooers books available, updated versions, so if you haven't gotten one, you certainly should consider it. And we'll be covering a variety of events throughout the weekend. This has been just a little one. I think we'll probably follow up this here that you're watching with coverage of the play Doubling Over that they're putting on this evening. So that'll probably be the next thing that you're going to watch. So stick around.